Hello, my name is Becky Allen. I'm a British Sign Language interpreter for the Royal Shakespeare Company, and I will be interpreting Hamlet, which will be broadcast to schools on the 10th of November. I'm here now to provide some information which we hope will be of support when watching the play. First of all, I'm going to run through the characters in the play. I'm going to show you a photo of each character, fingerspell their name, and then show their sign names. I'd also like to say a big thank you to students and staff from Newsome High School in Huddersfield, as they helped to create these sign names. Hamlet, and here's his sign name. Gertrude, and here's her sign name. Claudius, and his sign name. Ophelia, and her sign name. Polonius, and his sign name. Laertes, and here's his sign name. Horatio, and his sign name. Rosencrantz, and here's his sign name. And Guildenstern, and here's her sign name. Next, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the play, and in particular about the RSC's production. So to start with, I'm going to tell you a bit about where the play is set. In Shakespeare's original text, Hamlet is set in Denmark. However, the setting of the RSC's production that you will watch takes inspiration from West Africa. You can perhaps see the influence of West Africa in the costumes, perhaps in the lighting design. You can spot that influence from West Africa, and in the stage setting itself. Also, it's interesting to note that when we see the ghost of Hamlet's father appear, it perhaps feels like the ghost has been summoned. This is a moment that you might like to watch out for and consider what you think and how the influence of West Africa in the setting might influence the arrival of the ghost. One thing that is important to note, however, is that although the production has a West African influence, the actors still talk about being in Denmark. Another interesting thing to note about the setting is that in this production, the play starts at Wittenberg University, where we see Hamlet graduating. Now, this isn't in Shakespeare's original text, so it means it's a choice made specifically for the Royal Shakespeare Company's production. So now I'm going to give a brief description of what happens in the play. Hamlet has been at university. But returns from university for his father's funeral. He finds out that his uncle Claudius has married his mother Gertrude. Hamlet sees his dead father's ghost. The ghost tells Hamlet that he was murdered by Hamlet's uncle Claudius, who poured poison in his ear whilst he slept. The ghost says that Hamlet must revenge his murder and punish Claudius. Hamlet feels he can't trust his own senses. He can't trust the loyalty of his old friends Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. And he can't even trust his girlfriend Ophelia. Hamlet decides that from henceforth he will pretend to be mad. And by doing this, he hopes to gather evidence about his father's murder. Everyone starts to think that Hamlet is behaving strangely. Ophelia, Hamlet's girlfriend, is also very confused about the way that Hamlet is behaving. Hamlet even tells Ophelia that he doesn't love her. Hamlet wants to find out whether his father really was murdered by Claudius. And so, with the help of his friend Horatio, Hamlet asks a group of actors to perform a play in which a king is murdered by having poison poured into his ear. After watching this scene during the performance of the play, Claudius acts very guilty and rushes away. Hamlet is angry with his mother because she married his uncle so soon after his father died. And so Hamlet and his mother argue. However, Hamlet hears a sound coming from behind a curtain. He thinks he knows who the person is. He thinks it's his uncle Claudius. Hamlet stabs through the curtain, but he doesn't kill Claudius. He kills Polonius. Claudius is very worried that Hamlet knows he's a murderer, and so decides to send him away to England. Claudius asks for the help of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. These friends are told to make sure that Hamlet dies. However, Hamlet escapes. and returns home to Denmark and meets up with Horatio. While Hamlet has been away, Ophelia has become insane with sorrow. We see Ophelia speak about flowers and their meaning. Although, interestingly, in this production, instead of giving actual flowers to other characters, the actor playing Ophelia pulls out her hair, handling it like a flower, and giving it to those around her. Later on, Ophelia dies. She is found drowned in a river. And nobody knows whether her death was an accident or whether it was suicide. Ophelia's brother Laertes comes home. He finds his father dead and his sister dead. He's very angry and heartbroken. He blames Hamlet. Hamlet and Horatio are at the graveyard where Ophelia is to be buried. Hamlet meets a gravedigger and discovers a skull that he recognises as belonging to the king's jester from his childhood. Claudius arranges a duel between Hamlet and Laertes. And interestingly, in the Royal Shakespeare Company's production, instead of fighting with swords, wooden sticks are used. Because Claudius wants Hamlet dead, he gets Laertes to poison the tip of the stick he fights with. He also prepares a poisoned drink for Hamlet. At the duel, things go very wrong. The sticks get mixed up, and both Laertes and Hamlet get cut with the poisoned weapon. Gertrude then drinks the poison meant for Hamlet. And so Hamlet kills Claudius with the poisoned stick before he, Hamlet himself, dies. Which means we see Laertes has died, Gertrude has died, Claudius has died, and Hamlet has died. As Horatio lives to tell the truth of the terrible story, Fortinbras, the Prince of Norway, arrives with his army. He takes control of a state whose royal family has been destroyed by betrayal, murder, and revenge. And the final thing I wanted to let you know is that I have been chatting to the actor Papa Essiadu, who plays the title role of Hamlet. Papa and I have discussed his portrayal of the role of Hamlet, and in particular about his feelings, about the meaning of the famous speech that begins with "to be or not to be." Now, this speech is very tricky to interpret into BSL, but with Papa's support, I'm hopefully able to deliver a BSL interpretation, which means that you'll feel a real connection with what Papa feels Hamlet is saying through that speech. So, we hope that you enjoy the broadcast of Hamlet on the 10th of November. And thank you very much for watching now. Bye-bye.